Alright, here we go. After Party 49. We're going to talk about sessions 147. I believe we are done here. 148. Changes a goodie thing. I had to say the E because that's...
Oh, okay.
And
I was like, wait, did I misspell it?
And 149, all Asparas a stage. Well, we got to talk about them. I believe we're done here. That could have been all kinds of episodes. What are you referencing?
That was a direct quote from Shakara near the end of this episode.
That was a good one.
I was done with Igna. Or Igna was done.
Shakara is fearsome, man. I like it, but it's scary.
Well, I mean, he was going to try and kill me.
Yeah.
Do I believe that Isabella sent him? Not fully. I don't also believe that she didn't not send him.
Okay.
Made sense in my brain.
Uh-huh.
I think you were out for blood since the O-ring.
Can't let him go. When somebody says, I'm here to kill you, do you just say, okay, bye, see you later?
Yeah, he did say, like, I've been told to kill you. And then when you attacked him, he tried to flee, not attack back. It was weird. I don't know.
Because he knew he couldn't take me. A little weakling.
Didn't have what's the word? The chutzpah to go toe-to-toe with Shakara.
The armor.
Or the power, or the strength, or...
Testicle fortitude, we call it.
Yeah. The cajones, as they say.
Oh, yeah. See, we said the same word, but you said it your stupid way.
Are we all glad he's dead? That's the important thing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
There's no love lost there, I don't think.
That was a hanging thing that we needed to get rid of.
It was a skin tag? Ignore
there's
skin tag.
There's a lot of other skin tags in Aspara that need to go too, but we'll just hit them off one at a time. We'll lance them one at a time.
Yeah, some of them are bigger than others.
Yeah. Some of them are probably pustules if we dig deep
Can we
enough.
change the...
Alright.
I draw the line of pus, sorry.
Okay. That's fair.
So session 149, I was just looking, and that is only the second good pun title, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, really?
The
first one is Good Enough Party, right?
It is the very first session 1 was Good Enough Party.
Wow.
How have you
applaud your
resisted?
restraint.
I know,
Yeah.
I thought there would be more. I thought there would be a lot more.
I did too.
So what was the first episode? What happened there?
Well, we started in a bar, right? And then, where did we
met
start
in a
on
tavern?
47?
Yeah.
Can make a podcast out of that.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good
I
title.
Yeah,
don't
did
pay royalties
we
now.
start in the tickly? I'm know where it ended. I'm trying to remember where it started. The fireball. Listen, like 147 was Shakara's transformation and everything.
No. So 147, yes, you went back into the tickly. Basically, you were waiting for Igna to show up, right?
Yeah, and we met your new followers of Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yes. How could you forget?
The people that we instantly recognized, all of us.
Should we give them a peek behind the curtain here to that interaction? Because...
What, in the after party? No.
Leland rattles off their names, and I'm like, oh crap, I don't remember any of these people.
We recorded that scene at least twice. And
We did
edited
take
it like we
a second go at it, yeah.
Leland had a lot of editing work
Other
these
than
3
the name
episodes.
Silas, I was like, who? And then I was like, Tower. Then I was like, oh, that was like yesterday. My character should remember that.
Yes.
It's
Honestly,
hard,
I had to look
okay?
back through my notes to remember what their names were, too, because I forgot what their names were, too. And I forget them now. I couldn't even tell you.
Silas,
Lance,
Silas.
I know Silas.
Hannigan.
Oh, yeah,
Lance and
Hannigan.
Hannigan, and, you know, the skin tags and the lance. It all comes together.
Hey, full circle.
Well, are they, after 149, are they all dead?
Well, they weren't.
No, they
weren't in the
left
tickly.
They weren't
when
there.
They returned. Yeah, they had
That's
left.
right.
Already.
Other ones got killed. So
Yeah. I moved out all the NPCs I cared about, and then anyone who else happened to be in there.
And then he dropped a fireball and falls
And then I
in
dropped
his
the
head.
fireball.
Wait for Falzern to unload his bag. And set fire
Did
to
the
it.
others have names that you want to recite now in the after parties? We can sort of, give them their
A moment of silence.
moment of
The
silence
full
for...
tables
the
of
townsfolk?
civilians.
And the
no, we don't
and the
care
dead
about townsfolk.
paladins.
The paladins, because I feel like, they've earned it.
Yeah. There was like Pete and Larry. What was the other one? One of them had a weird name. I only met them one time. When you meet somebody only a single time, you can get their face, right? But it's tough to put the face to the name.
Was there a Greg? A Gregory?
There wasn't a Gregory. No, I would remember that.
What do you mean by you only
Stella?
met him one
Was there a Leland? Because I've never met one of them in person.
Not many have.
So wait, you call it meeting your characters?
No, that was a bit.
Oh, okay.
Tough
Well,
crowd.
okay, back on topic. Falzarin finally decides to get his little cage in 147.
I don't want to talk about that.
But the magic guy was a jerk. He's never upcharged us like that before, has he?
Yeah.
Falzarin's been upcharged more times than I can count.
He knew he was desperate too. Like,
Yes. Anyway, that's not the worst part of the interaction. As one of our loyal listeners pointed out, what would be perhaps another great thing for Falzarin to buy while he's in Magic, since he's going to be destroying his bag of holding?
Yeah, I thought about that when we got back to the tavern.
I didn't.
How much money do you have though? They're expensive. You paid $500 for the one you've got.
That's the going rate.
Falzarin's got money.
But again, where are you getting this money?
Well,
That's
on
a
me to
don't
know
need to
vision.
worry
Never
about
taught
that.
finance.
Why does
we
Mia
don't
not
ask you
have
why you
money?
followed
Everyone else
Thor.
has money, and Mia
You
doesn't have
don't
money.
ask religious questions, money
When
questions.
we got money and experience, like mine's gone. What?
Well, you're the rich one. You can get more. We
Are
have to
you guys
earn
not
ours.
cutting me
We're
in?
lower class.
Are you not killing me?
You know what? Mia grew up rich and pampered and was
Yeah.
sick
Yes,
of
I
it
did.
and wanted to get out and experience the world like the rest of us, and now she is.
You've said before, money means nothing to
Yes.
you. Therefore, there's no
this
reason to share
this
it.
is Elena reacting. Like, how does Bill have 620 gold at least?
Bill has more than 600. Never mind.
Well, not. But, sorry, Falzarin. Sorry, Falzarin, not Bill. I don't know
Yeah,
how
that's
much
what I
gold
meant.
we have buried in the backyard somewhere.
Things have happened here and there.
I don't like. I'm with you all the time in character. Like what?
You haven't been with Falzarin all the time.
No, you haven't.
All right, now you're just giving me trust issues.
No, it's true though. Falzarin has been apart from Mia.
This is true. There's been a few off mics in the last number of episodes.
Well, then don't complain about a 5 gold beer.
Well,
That's a bit steep.
Thank
That's a bit steep.
Thank you, Elena. I agree.
I mean, that's
Falzarin's
pretty ridiculous.
Falzarin's
so.
never been very well off. Falzarin's never been very well off, the opposite
Sure.
of Mia. So even when he does have money, he's going to balk at,
A ridiculously priced beer.
So is Elena viewing this as different than a listener because listeners know more than me or something?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Okay, because I'm like, how the frick does he have money? Like, it doesn't
I'm
make
not
sense
just
to
I'm
me.
not just adding zeros to the end of my character sheet. I have
And
money.
like creating your spell books and all the stuff that costs money. Like Elena doesn't know how he's making that money.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was long enough ago where I had to remind both John and Bill that they had this money.
Yes, that's accurate.
Okay.
The ever
All right.
benevolent DM.
Broke until the DM pocket said, "There's some money in here." Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh, okay, all right. So part of me, okay, that whole argument was because I thought I
No,
knew
there was-
something that I didn't or something.
There was some off mic stuff that
All right.
led to
I
Falzarin
can
coming into
see
some
it now.
cash.
Well, that's frustrating for me.
Mia's pissed off. Mia doesn't have the most money, and now she's not the best
Mia
looking.
doesn't have money. Shakara's like taking the stage. Like this is.
This is the real world, sweetheart. You
That's
wanted out
why-
of your castle.
That's why I believe Mia in character, which could have been me bleeding into this, said something along the lines of like, "Sorry about your tavern," and they're like, "Oh no, without you, like, thank you," and she's like, "You're welcome."
Yeah, you were hardcore
It was like
fishing for that.
super
and
fishing for
I I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna grab this hook. Sally's gonna put this hook in her mouth and let Mia reel her in because she's clearly fishing for this.
But again, that's where it is hard to tell. Like, was it Mia or was it me? I'm sorry, but like, I needed to be praised.
I thought it was very well done, despite how obvious
Well
the
enough
bait
done that
was.
you should have said it without any comment.
It was very enticing bait.
Without any prompting.
Without
All right,
any
on your way-
nudging in the right direction.
On your way to Magic, Alamar complains about Falzarin tugging on his cane.
Yes, and I was like, "What is
And it
he
wasn't a
talking
euphemism.
about?
And it
I
wasn't,
thought it was a
wasn't
euphemism,
wasn't the
legitimately.
Fun,
I was
wasn't
like,
the fun tug.
I feel like Leland's trying to make a dirty joke. I don't really get it, and it's not that funny. So I
I
just
would
kind of
never
didn't
do
acknowledge
something
it.
like that.
So, yeah, I didn't get it, and then I think was it you, M, who finally pointed out like, hey, I think something's going on here. Leland's trying to smash you over the head with the fact that
Tug you over the cane
Yeah.
with the fact that
he's trying to tug you off.
Now that you have a theory of what exactly,
we could be
And-
way off, right?
I'll tell you that you're not way off.
Oh,
I mean, you have this working theory.
just like when you actually said the amulet of Kalar on Hannah's chest, and I was like, confirmed, DM narrated. It's in canon now.
Yeah, and it's funny that you actually say that because I'm like, do I narrate this way? Because I don't want it to be ambiguous that this is the amulet that they've been given the description for. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna call it because it matches the exact description that you've all had. And so
We would have messed it up.
We
too,
sometimes
if
need
you
that.
hadn't
Yes.
been.
Appreciated to just say what it is all I'm saying.
well, not everything needs to be in a fog cloud, right? So
Yeah,
it would be
fair.
clear to your character because again, it's part of that separation between the player and the character, right? There's so many things that gets lost in translation just between those two parties, let alone having it have to come from the DM and then filter through the player and then to the character, right? there's already the player character filter.
The cane thing was cool though, because I do think we didn't pick up on it like the first 2 times maybe or something. Because we thought he was holding it.
Well, Falzarin probably would not have picked up on that either. He just would, something's going on in his bag, right? He's never done it before. He's never gave us any indication that there would be something like that happen.
At least the first, maybe the second time, Falzarin would, not know what to think
Ignore
of it,
it.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, Alamar's just bitching in his bag like he does all the time.
But yeah, so our working theory is that it's sort of like a what's the word? Divining rod, or
An
a
Eller dose
radar.
detector.
Yes.
The closer he gets, the more whatever Alamar feels more strongly. So
Well, he also gave us an indication when we were in Magic, and Shaft was looking out the window. He saw what he thought was Erica. And then we also thought we saw Isabella,
yes,
too, right?
Yeah.
But I firmly believe that Shaft would have said, that's just somebody that looks like there's no way she's dead, and just blow it off, right?
Yeah.
But there was indicators there that he was throwing out that something's amiss, and somebody can make themselves look like somebody else.
Well, that's what I've been struggling with is like, okay, we know or we strongly suspect that the Izzy who fireballed us, mostly Falzarin, is not the real Izzy. Okay, fair enough. So maybe that's Salardos. But then who is Erica? Who is
Could have been
impersonating Erica?
Salardos
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
but why? Why be Erica?
It
Why
seems
be-
weird, doesn't it? Like why
Very weird.
why would he do that?
just to switch between people, and
There's no way that was Isabella, because Isabella would not fireball paladins.
Yeah, I don't think that adds
She
up.
needs cultists too much right now. She would not piss him off or risk
Right.
losing
yeah,
him right now.
I agree on that point. It seems unusual for a thing for Isabella to do unless we're missing a piece of the puzzle.
I'll tell you what, if she rolls fireballs like that anytime in the future, we're all dead meat. Because that was a 48,
Yeah.
which is really good for of course, you upcast it too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was 10d6, but still, that's a really great roll on 10d6.
It was,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, I don't want to fight that.
And I'm not fire resistant anymore, so I don't want to fight it either.
Uh-oh. Well, I mean, you at least got your cage. And me and Shakar made the trek out to Magic for really no reason. Just to turn right around and go back.
We just needed some exercise. We needed to
I mean,
stretch our
moral
legs.
support.
I did like, though, before the ladies left the Tickly, that Shakar was like, yo, Igna, just FYI, like, things are cool, okay? I'm actually with you. Still trying to play Igna, right?
And he really, I mean, other than the fact that I ordered him on the rowboat on the way over, I haven't, like, I've explained all my actions to him. He should not be as angry with me as he is.
Really? You legitimately think that he wouldn't have any reason
Other than being Ord. Because, I mean, the elders escaped, yes, but I had nothing to do with that. I was in the room all night.
But did you have nothing to do with it?
Well, that's exactly right. Like,
as far as he's concerned.
I know as far as he's concerned, but they're not
As far as he knows, I didn't have anything to do with it because I was in the room. I mean, other than I wouldn't let him kill the elders, which goes against what Isabella wanted, and I wouldn't let him kill you all, which goes against what he wanted. I haven't done anything to him. I've been a good coven member. Except for those two things. Granted, one's kind of big. But still.
Other than denying him everything he wants to do and beating him with an oar, he should have no problem with anything that you're suggesting.
Does he not know that you helped the elders escape Heracleon?
He shouldn't.
And then, okay.
Yeah, as far as we know, he doesn't.
You're right. They shouldn't have any way of confirming that for sure, right? But
Okay.
like Shakara's traveling with the three of you. The three of you are staying in the rooms with the false elders. Like, he can clearly suspect something, right? But you're right. There's no like proof.
He could guess, yeah, but
Yeah,
I told him he should listen to me. I told him I was with him.
And he was going to go to the show with you. He didn't even get to see Love's dissolve. You robbed him of
and
that.
she's also told us that she's with us too.
But I mean
Just
it with
want
you
to make
guys.
that clear.
I mean it with you guys.
That's exactly what. And you meant it with him too, right?
No.
Oh, sure.
Look, have I ordered you yet?
Bring it on, baby.
If you play your cards
We don't
right.
need to, we don't need to go into what you guys do in the privacy of your own home.
If
Moving
I ever
right
do
along.
you or you, it'll be a surprise.
Well, I did also like the interrogation scene with Shakara, Mia, and Falsey. I just love how like blatant Mia is like, Igna, just don't be an idiot. Fess up. Like, we know you're a prick.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to do my zone of truth or what? Like, kind of like a stop lying. Cut the shit.
The single bead of sweat rolling down and falling onto his robe, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, R.I.P. Igna. But yeah, I guess just you're right, Emily. Like, what the hell else was Shakara gonna do?
I couldn't let him go at that point.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a talk about this off mic that, like, as soon as Shakara was like, he's dead to me, Mia, like, aka, like, give him what you've got. And I wasn't thinking about spending
I know you've been looking forward to it.
Right? Mia made the decision, and I was thinking, like, I don't ever use my inflict wounds spell, but I keep it prepared because it's so powerful. Like, it isn't, it's not like I can't channel with it. It's necrotic damage, I think. The story, maybe it's just Bill and I talking about this in the car the other day, but basically, like, Mia using necrotic damage all the time doesn't make any sense, but when it's, like, her dark side's coming out and, like, bets are off, she, like, tried to inflict wounds at a super high level and failed, but, you know.
Yes. Come to the dark side.
I'm not getting tattoos, like I said. I'm not getting
Yeah, I
branded.
like that. I like that. Oh, that's really cool.
But it's hard to, like, it was hard to justify ever using it before, but it made sense in that moment. And so I wish it would have hit, but whatever.
Honestly, I think things are just ratcheting up so much that, like, those types of acts and decisions for your characters are just becoming more and more justifiable. I mean, I know Shakara will say
Tell
that
me about
every
it.
single thing she's done up until this point is entirely and 100% justifiable.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not you believe with that, you believe her when she says that is up to you. But
There's several times where we say, well, what else are we going to do? What other choice do we have? Like, I'm pretty sure I said that a few times. Because it's like, well...
yeah, we're in this situation. What the hell else? How else can we get out of it? Yeah, absolutely. Well, we did have a comment from Brett. A number of them, actually. He says, Bill/Valzarin, congratulations on a successful counter spell. She just asked if this was the first time you've successfully countered something. I'm not sure that it is. I think you have in the past, but pretty rarely.
I think I've used it in the past, but didn't pull it off. Yeah, I think this might be the first time that it's worked for Falsey, but maybe the second. I don't know. But yes.
So, how did it feel? You directly contributed to Igna's death? Murder. Sorry. Murder.
Absolutely,
Oh, that was definitely a murder.
It is
Yes.
technically your fault if you really want to get down to it.
Public murder.
I think Falzarin will be sleeping all right at night.
Coming around, are you?
Yeah.
Yes. Come to the dark side.
Look, Shakara, just because
Mead.
the people around you are doing things that might be morally questionable does not mean it's a direct influence from you. It just means it's your doing.
I mean, however they get there.
Look, I've
makes no
been
difference
morally
to me.
questionable since episode
Just
1.
Exactly.
Everyone has a unique journey.
Shaft's probably changed the least.
Oh, yeah. Although, I mean, I think I've mentioned before, like, Shaft's changes are way more subtle. But, yeah, I think it's probably minimal change. But I think his type of character is the character that it doesn't need change, like, upward growth, right, to experience growth, where I think it's just it's maybe like, a lateral growth. If you were going to make the comparison, the
he also
corporate
had a
structure comparison. I
Big
don't
change before the story started.
I think the internal struggle that Shaft has now is, I've got Nina's soul or whatever in the sack. Why wouldn't I just leave and go back to Victor? Right? Because really that's his driving factor, but he's still hanging with you guys. From a character standpoint, I almost feel like that's the thing that he would do.
Also still have a revenant after you, and if you separate from us, it could take you out.
Yeah, I think it's a struggle. It's an internal struggle that never really gets on the podcast, right? From a character perspective, in my opinion. So if something was to sway, where's it? I want everybody to think, where's his line today?
Yeah.
That to me is fun character play. I don't care about the leveling and all that as much, or all that. Of course, I do want to level, by the way, Leland. I get whirlwind and attack, and I want whirlwind attack. But apart from that,
My guess would be that you had written like 3 paragraphs or pages worth of background. So I thought maybe
there's
you
stuff
really
that I'll
knew
never
your
share
character.
with anybody.
And the more you know your character, the less you'll change.
Wow, that's pretty deep.
Yeah. I mean, you do write pretty detailed backstories.
Yeah, that's what it takes for an old guy to get into character.
I
would love to read Chloe's one day.
I think that's a good comment, Elena, because because it can very well see, like,
wait, can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
No, you can listen back to as many times as you want. I think purposely you can make a character with like a more ambiguity to their backstory, right? To one, to allow the person running the game to be able to play into it and expound upon it in surprising ways for the player, right? As well at the table, if that's what that player wants for their character, etc. So, which we'll talk about next episode, and with what's kind of happening with Shakara. But that ambiguity though does leave the room for growth, where maybe a character more like Shaft and John as a player, like you say, Elena, like they know the character they want to play and they want to keep playing that character, so they don't necessarily need the growth for the character to continue to enjoy being that character, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, John, but I kind of sense your mentality being like, well, Shaft is this way, and I want to see how he performs the way he is in X number of situations, right? And tackle those situations in Shaft's way, rather than adapt. Like it's less about Shaft adapting to the situation, more about Shaft making the situation adapt to him.
I'd say it's fair. Yeah. I mean, I didn't really think about it in those terms, but yeah, you're right. I think that's what I like to do. That's the way I like to play a character.
And I think Bryn was a little bit more like that too, or would have been for me. Like I knew how I wanted to play her.
Yeah, for
and then
sure,
Mia was definitely more ambiguous because it was happening so quickly.
Well, also I think like playing a cleric and basically like those types of prepared like cleric and paladins, right? Where they have the access to their entire list of spells. Going from playing like a rogue, an assassin rogue, which not when I say basic, like not denigrating that type of archetype for the rogue, but like it's not necessarily as complex as like getting into the spellcasters do. So I think even for your second character, jumping into being a cleric is like more of a leap, I think, even though you're in the system, you've been playing the game and you understand the core rules. Still it's a pretty big difference from jumping to those classes into really any spellcasting class. I mean, look at how bad of a wizard Bill is because he started playing a wizard as his first character, right? And has yet to learn. And I had to prompt him to counterspell. So.
I mean, if and when his character is just a fighter, he's going to be like, I hit it, that's it. Okay, nothing else happens.
I remember a conversation 3 years ago. Bill, you probably don't want to play a wizard at first.
I'm so glad you did though, Bill, because Falzern was great. I love Falzern.
I regret nothing.
Yeah.
It's a bit murky at times. The waters are muddy.
Oh yeah, like the
listening to what's going on because you're looking at spells or whatever. I get
not
that though.
Ideally optimized wizard, that's for sure, but I have a lot of fun with Falsey.
Well, it's just like Britt made a comment about like, oh, Mia is reluctantly healing. It's like, well, our flaws and like our terribleness makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
also, you're not a healing cleric. If you want to be a healer, be a life cleric, not a tempest cleric, right? Like if you want to put the damage out, be a tempest cleric.
Yep.
I was actually just talking to someone the other day, and they were saying about how their tempest cleric is one of their favorite characters they've played in D&D because it's just can put out crazy amounts of damage, and it's just such a really cool character.
Yeah, one of the favorite characters I've ever made was a Tempest Cleric Sorcerer, and it was only like 2 levels, like enough levels of cleric to get the channel divinity. What? It's very unusual for me. But then I was arrested as a sorcerer just because it was part of his backstory and that stuff, right? And he worshipped an evil god, so he was bad. He was a bad boy. But I also went sorcerer so I could get lightning bolt, and then I would be able to just lightning bolt. The electric version of Fireball, and just max that out. He was a dope character. He was sweet. And we ended up actually, because he wanted to kill his god, and we ended up actually doing it. So that was by the end of that campaign.
Oh, what?
All right.
Well, we kind of more put the god in stasis rather than actually kill him, but same difference.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Well, and like without, I think the leveling changes and character changes, like it's boring. I don't know.
Yeah, you need the progression, right? But I think Shaft is a testament where the progression can come in a variety of forms. The tavern door opens, and Isabella is at the threshold.
Such a good start.
And she fireballs the room. Looks around for a second, like, okay, let's fireball you.
Yeah, that was one heck of a fireball, man. Whew.
And Mia saves the day with her sleet storm.
Thank you. I needed some frickin' recognition, everybody. I'm just kidding.
Could have taken down the whole tavern, man. That's what I was envisioning. I'm like, oh man, this whole place.
I thought it was the end.
So did I. I was hoping it was.
I think all of the surviving patrons and paladins should have took ice damage, honestly.
So like no one
save the tavern, kill the people.
No one takes ice damage with Sleet Storm. They're just knocked prone.
Oh, okay.
And it's difficult terrain, so like I wasn't hurting anyone, but or it doesn't do damage. But I immediately thought of control water. But then I was reading the spell text, and it was talking about how there needs to be like a body of water or whatever, kind of like the whirlpool at the lake that we did.
Yeah.
It's a tap.
Yeah, there's a lot of alcohol.
You just control the beer,
bottles,
yeah. Just
fueling the flames. But anyway, like right next to it, always prepared. Good old trusty Sleet Storm said right there in the text, all flames are doused. I was like, so for 3 people's turns, I had to I was doing like the PP dance, like I got something good. When's my turn? What's the order?
Isn't it awesome when you have a spell
Oh,
that's
I
just going
loved
to
it.
work perfectly for what you want to do? I
I loved it, and then I was cocky about it after, and I don't know if it's me and Mia being combined now, and I need to refocus on what Mia would be like. But Mia's character description does say cocky, so
Yeah.
she gets it from me.
No, I think that's fair. She's got this massive Thor hammer and all this power, and she comes from she was born into money and affluence and all this sort of stuff, so
She's pretty intimidated of Shakara now, though. There's a lot going on there.
Mia seems to go back and forth between not liking Shakara, not wanting to be with her, not wanting to share a room with her, to being protective of her, and you better be nice to Shakara, because I'm going to come after you.
There was a huge difference when you and Keck in the Falzarin thing. Like, there was a huge change in my opinion of you, and then joining the Coven, I was really, suspect of you, and then I really feel like after Igna, you're with us. So I don't know.
Well, you're both teenagers, so you're just back and forth all over the time.
I'm
I thought you were
15.
Okay, I'm 20.
15.
I'm 20.
You're 20?
Yeah,
okay.
so.
Fresh out of teenage years. And you're a late bloomer.
Well, I mean, Dragonborns age quicker, too, more quickly.
I guess just in general, Mia's going to continue to see the choices, the actions you take, not the words you say. And that's driving, force for what's happening often with the two of us. Because I think it's cool. I don't know. I'm not fully convinced that Dendar is evil. Because I think, I don't know, especially the way you look now. You don't look evil.
You're pretty now.
Pretty.
Thanks,
well,
Drake.
in the time and time again that you've stuck up for me, but not forced me into this coven. The first time you tried to win me over with it, it was no.
Yeah, she was trying to sales pitch you, and you weren't going to buy into that. You wanted the long.
I wanted the wooing. I don't know, Emily.
That's the way you get.
Playing
That's the way you gotta
Shakara,
sell
does
her.
it feel like it depends on what choices you make? Because that's how I think it's being influenced.
You really want to buy this perfume? No, I don't.
Or
It
are
makes
you
smell
actually confused
beautiful.
by it?
I want 2 bottles. 5 bottles.
Well, if you sell 2 bottles and then you get 2 people to sell 2 more bottles. All you have to do is get rid of the stack of 100, but you do that by selling your 2, but getting 2 more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's how Falzarin makes his money.
We're all convinced that... That's how Falsey makes it. We're all convinced that this was not Isabella.
Yes.
I'm yeah, 85%.
Look, unless she can run really fast, Shaft went out there to try to catch her, and she was gone. So I think she changed pretty much right after she got out of the...
I do believe
out
it is
onto the
entirely
road.
possible there is a portal in Drakal that Isabella did not tell me about.
Possibly.
I still don't think this is Isabella.
Other than the elders, what would have changed to make Isabella now turn them against you?
I mean, well, if Igna went back and because he hated me anyway, if he went back to Isabella and said, she let the elders go. She went against what you said, and he lied to Isabella, which I could totally see him
She
doing.
would kill you for that, even after all this coven.
She could say, well, do what you want with her. I mean, Isabella might not even said kill her. It might have been just said, oh, I don't care then. Do whatever you want. Just to get rid of him or whatever.
If she didn't care, though, why would she show up? I don't know. I don't think it's her.
She wouldn't have fireballed the paladins.
So in one of the episodes, I think, Elena, you said that, Alamar, if Sardos would have access to Alamar's spells that he prepared, because Leland did make and he did specifically say, as Alamar, he would not have access to all my spells, which is all the stuff he has in
Right.
his book that he didn't have prepared. So he probably had Disguise Self as a spell prepared when, when Sardos took over his body. That's my theory. And now he's just popping around, change into different people, so we can't track him.
The choice of Erica is interesting. I don't know what to think
The
about
thing
that.
that catches me up is that Falzarin has Alamar's spellbook and Fireball ain't in it.
Well, Leland did also say that he takes a little bit from each body he's been in.
Yeah.
He was in a
yeah,
powerful wizard before Alamar.
Yeah. So
I
I
think,
guess
during the battle.
that could be.
The body he was in during the siege of Heraklion, he did present magical capabilities there as well. So there's probably something more going on. Yeah, and Alamar also wasn't sure. I mean, he basically said when me and Falsey were out like trying to locate creature, it was like, if Sardo has all of my abilities, you two are fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's what he said, right? So he's basically, you better hope he doesn't, because I got some bangers. Like, you know, he can Feeble Mind. Feeble Mind is an 8th level spell, so Elmar is a very powerful
Ooh.
wizard. Hopefully Sardo doesn't have access to all of that, but that was actually, I think, was something else that Britta brought up, is like, well, wait, would the power that Alamar wields be attached, you know, for lack of a better term, to his soul or to the body? Like, what's going on here? This is strange, right? Like, where is this power coming from? Or like, what? And then now we can get into a philosophical debate about what happens to your soul when it leaves your body and gets trapped in
Yeah.
Kane, and what kind of abilities you So obviously there's no mechanics for this type of thing. Like, this is just homebrewy, wibbly wobbly, timey wimey and stuff. So
Yeah.
Pulling on a cane.
Well, what does the
cyclone.
Bible say about phylacteries?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we can clear this up right now.
I believe the phylactery is actually from Judaism and was co-opted and bastardized in Dungeons and Dragons. Like a lot of other.
I can't tell if you're being serious right now.
No,
I'm just
that
making
is
this up.
that
Yes,
is legit.
true.
That is
Oh,
legit.
okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah,
So what
there's
was it
tons
used
of-
for in...
I'm not sure
ancient
what the
times?
actual origin of it is, but yeah, I mean D&D is a history
Love your
of, like,
phylactery
anti-Semitic.
as yourself or your neighbor or whatever.
No clue, so I'm not going to talk my ass on that.
I don't even know what a regular revenant can do. I've purposely not looked it up, so I don't know
I don't think I ever
how much
looked it up
is
either.
real revenant, or how much is Leland revenant.
Well, a base Revenant is a CR5 and doesn't have any magical abilities. They do have a regeneration ability if they don't get damaged by fire or radiant damage. And basically they walk up and they have a fist attack. And the only other thing they have that's special is like this vengeful glare that will potentially paralyze the target, which she did try to do to Bryn when she was up in the tree the very first time you fought handless Sardo in just outside of Victor.
Yeah.
So was that regular revenant?
That was regular Revenant, right? Because he had just come back as a Revenant and was hunting you for a couple of days. Finally got up to you. So yeah, if you're paralyzed and he hits you, then he does I think 46 more damage or something, like a lot more extra damage. If he
And back
pummels
then
you.
we would have been way weaker too.
Yeah, well, back then a CR5 challenge rating was an appropriate challenge, but I mean, probably not because you've destroyed him very handily. So, so right now, if you were to go up against a CR5 Revenant, that is a very weak creature to throw at a party of your level right now, right? So that's also why it is even kind of written into the lore of the Revenant is the Revenant, their shtick is to seek out other beings and stronger allies to help them achieve their goal, which is exactly what Sardos has done the whole campaign, right? Like, I mean, he couldn't take you on his own. So he, you killed him there. His soul escaped his body, which you all witnessed. And then, he found another body in Victor 24 hours later and allied himself with Eric and Chucky, which also seemed to be a poor choice of allies. And now Sardo has allied himself with Igna and potentially Kula, wherever. Oh, I guess we did see Kula in these episodes, didn't we? So Igna and Kula. again, maybe those are a poor choice. I mean, one half of his team is dead already, so
I am really looking forward to talking to Kula, just because he was the more level-headed one of the two. But I never really interacted with him a whole lot. Everything has been with Igna.
Yeah, Igna kind of did take charge for sure of that trio at the time, because at the time Halsa was with them.
Yeah,
I really wish that before Igna died, we could have clarified, because we knew and he vocalized that he knew who Salardos was and he was working with him. I wish we could have clarified.
Well, Salardos was on Heracleon with Isabella for a time.
I know, I just wish we could have somehow got him to talk about. See, the whole seeing things came after Igna was dead, right? Clarified if it was Isabella, basically. Actually Isabella. But he dead now.
He
so.
wouldn't answer. I mean, we basically did ask if Isabella was in Drakal, and he said, well, if she's here, it's because she wants to be here. He wouldn't have told us anything.
Yeah, he was kind of keeping his cards close to his chest.
Okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
that would be a lot less confusing though going forward if we got an answer. I guess that's all I mean.
Leland wouldn't have given us that.
Well, maybe if it was Halsa.
I mean,
or no, what's the other one's name? Kula.
Your search for Izzy, like Shaft, or like John had mentioned, as soon as he gets out in the street, he loses sight of her. She's gone. Although, so there was another instance of Valimar talking about pulling his cane right before the fireball, right as Igna was getting hammered, and then Isabella steps in. So, more breadcrumbs for y'all. And I guess you kind of spend most of that episode trying to look for Izzy or Sardo or anybody you can see, and figure out how you can actually use Almar's cane now, right, as a detector, and kind of zip around a little bit. He's close and then he's gone. And if you do listen closely, in many instances during some of the sightings and the Alamar complaining about stuff, there are a few distances that do get explained in some of the ambient descriptions in those episodes. So there are some clues as to how you could figure it out and piece together exactly how it works. But maybe we'll figure out how and what is going on next batch of episodes.
So, Bill, you need to go back and listen to that again.
Yes. I typically, whenever something like that is said, need to listen to episodes several times to catch it.
Oh, there was actually one thing that I wanted to talk to you about, Bill. Soul Cage. So I know there was a lot of worry about your bag and the contents within, but Soul Cage does actually trap the soul for 8 hours. So it's not, you have time.
You have 8 hours.
I mean, the hard part is getting the soul out of the body and trapping it, right? But once it's trapped, you have 8 hours to deal with the cage in whatever way you're ultimately going to deal with.
Unless we are going to do the Alamar plan.
Yeah, well, depending on what you want to do with Alamar.
You still then have you have some minutes to 8 hours to get the stuff out.
Yeah, right. You have anywhere from
as long as the soul
1 second to
hurt you.
8 hours. That's actually something that I want to bring up, and that I think is funny but also annoying, is that every time Almar is talking to Falzarin, Shaft is always shushing him and shutting up and closing down the conversation before Almar and Falsey can really get into things.
Stuff.
I just think it's amazing, and it's preventing Almar and Falzarin from getting to any type of common ground. Even if and both parties might want to. I mean, Falzarin Falzarin brought up Almar, you prick, you've fucking talk down to me all the time. Stop it, you dick.
Yeah.
And then, Almar comes back and Shaft just shuts him down.
I know.
Well, look, Falzarin has plenty of time with his Shaft that he can talk to it anytime that he wants to. Sorry, his staff, not his Shaft.
Are liches always evil? In lore? Okay.
Yeah.
Saying that so disappointingly.
Are you referring to when we were on the broom flying around and we were using him as our little indicator, and Almar was talking to Falzarin, and I said, go, let's find out where this is. And I said, God help me, I'll throw you off this broom.
That was, yes, but I was obviously that had some extenuating circumstances. You were trying to track down somebody and you're stationary in the air talking to a cane. Yes, but also
Right.
in 149 on when you all were making your way to the theater, and Alamar had chimed in to say, "Hey, FYI, I don't feel anything. Don't worry, we're okay." They had Alamar and Falzarin had a back and forth there as well. That Shaw was like, "Yeah, okay, thanks. We're all on the same page, Alamar. Thanks." I think that was when when Falzarin brought up, like, I've been meaning to tell you, Alamar, like, quit shitting on me.
Yes.
And Alamar had said something like, "Well, I never wanted you as an enemy," and then Shaft like, "No, okay, thanks, we got it."
I don't know. I'm not totally confident that Falzarin's going to be able to win over Alamar. I think Alamar's too entrenched in his dislike of Falzarin, but he's going to try because, like you said, Elena, liches are bad news. So if Alamar is reunited with his body, I mean, that we've just traded one problem for another.
Potentially. I mean, he's still needs his. I mean, as far as we know, he still needs his lich juice.
Yeah. He's juiceless
He's
at
not
the moment.
fully lichified, and he might not want to do it again. He might not be able to do it again.
Yeah.
So he might just live out the rest of his life and die, like he was supposed to.
Well, I can tell you, he sure is not liking life in a cane. So, if potentially having to live in his phylactery for a little bit before a body regenerates is anything like this, he might be thinking twice. Well, let's move on to the young hag in the room, Shakara's transformation.
Not a hag.
You're something.
We don't know
Oh,
what
something.
you are.
Have you figured
we don't
it
know
out
what
yet?
the hell you are.
Is this another homebrew situation?
No, actually, it's not.
This
What?
is not.
But it is not. It's also not in D&D Beyond, so I can't easily make a character sheet.
What was you? Shakara used a coven ability for the 5th time and finished this transformation that she was going through. And finally, she used these bloody coven abilities because she's been sitting on them since session 111, Sisters. And I've been waiting for her to use them because I obviously knew what I wanted to do with it at the beginning. And then it took so long for you to use them, Emily, that a particular source book came out, and then I was able to have a conversation with you about the future of your character, because I, of course, was not going to just make a change to your character without consulting the player about it, right? So we did have a conversation. I think it was about after the 3rd or 2nd time you had used
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you did have your transformation prepared, and you were able to narrate for yourself of what happens to your character, which I think you did a fantastic job with. It was very well written.
Yes.
Very
yeah,
good.
it was awesome.
Thank you.
And I hope you like your new character.
It is going to take some getting used to. But as far as what was asked, yes, I did know that the 5th one would trigger the change. Like Leland said, we talked about it. We've been kind of waiting for this to happen for a while. I knew that there was going to be kind of a dramatic moment, and I didn't want to do it in the middle of a fight or right before a fight. So I was kind of picking my time to do it, and this just seemed it was a perfect situation in which to do it, to cast Death Ward. And there's more change than what you guys can see.
Yeah, I
And I
figured.
will just leave it at that.
So you're not going to fill us in on what your new race is?
I am a hex blood.
A what?
Hex
I
blood.
knew it.
I am not a hag.
Never heard of it.
I am
Well, you're splitting hairs with that one there, lady.
No, it takes a ritual. Damn it. I am one ritual away from being a hag, but I am not a hag.
You're a pre-hag, is what you're saying?
She is a pre-hag, absolutely.
Okay.
So Hexblood came out in Van Richten's guide to whatever, Van Richten something, whatever it is. It's like right next to me on the shelf, and it was
But
one
you can't
of
be bothered to look at it.
It's one of I swiveled my chair for you all. I mean, that's not going to show.
There
That
was
for
a
your
passing
benefit.
glance.
I felt there was some effort there, Leland, so don't let...
I think it's Van Richten's guide to Ravenloft. So
Yes.
Hexblood is one of, I think, 3 what do they call them in there? They're not races, but I think they call them heritages or something, because your character, you can build your character starting as one of those three new heritage things, but really they're like for if your character goes through a change or transitions into them. One is the Hexblood, one is like unborn or something. They're like an undead creature, and I think the other one is like a vampire basically or whatever. So, you know, Ravenloft is like the home of Strahd, the vampire lord, right, etc. D&D's version of Dracula, so that's the influence of this Gothic era, Gothic horror influence. And the Hexblood is really cool. I'm actually playing a Hexblood in my home group as well, as I'm playing a young Isabella Good, and it's very fun. Yeah, the Hexblood's it's an interesting heritage thing. So I was glad Emily was like, yeah, this looks dope.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this, to seeing how this affects things.
I'll have to look it up because I've never heard of that. So did you know, like, from day one, when you joined Isabella's Coven, that this was a possibility that you could turn into this?
No,
or did this evolve?
I had no idea.
Okay.
The plan originally was Paladin, and then it was Paladin Warlock after talking to one of our home group friends, because that sounded like it would be fun to do, because Warlocks get spell slots back faster, and they get extra stuff like the being able to read all languages and see when the magical darkness and Sparky. So then the plan was just to stay with Paladin Warlock, and then the whole Coven thing happened, and then Leland brought up the Hexblood thing, and I was like, yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Which prompted me to bring up another change that I'm just going to tease you all with, and combine it with the Hexblood. So.
Oh. Okay.
I want to create a new character now that we're talking about character creation a lot tonight. Not like for this campaign, but I just like have the feeling. I got the itch to read some obscure
That's
books.
what one-shots are for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To try out all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, well, she looks really cool. That description was really cool. I remember just like being enthralled, like as you read it, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah, that was pretty neat. You did a good job.
So is Shaft really okay with Shakara right now? Does he think that she's still good, or that she's more good than good?
She's good with an E.
Good with an E.
I think Shaft probably has a wavering view of your usefulness.
That's about how Shakara feels about you.
Yeah. I think we came to some level of understanding that hey, we're in this to help each other, but we're also in it for ourselves. And knowing where each other stands is actually pretty good.
I mean, I keep telling you, Shakara keeps telling Shaft, I'm not aligned with Isabella. I've said that since the day you left me at the keep. I'm not aligned with Isabella.
But he's also seen you lie to other people, so
You're not supposed to bring that part up.
yeah. I mean, I think if anything, he's probably going, yeah, I see what you're selling, whatever, right? I'm not judging you for it. I'll lie if I have to. I get it.
Yeah, I'm not buying what you're selling, but it's not conflicting with the goods I'm peddling. So
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yes.
See, and I think there's an extra level of frustration because it's you, my husband, and you're the one that's saying that. So it's like if Elena or Bill had said something like that to Shakara, or Mia or Falzarin had said something like that to Shakara, I don't think it would have rankled as much as Shaft saying it.
Role playing.
That's fine.
Not just for the bedroom anymore.
I mean,
Hey.
maybe Mia knows more about blood hex.
Hexblood.
What's it called? Blood
Hexblood.
blood than I do. Obviously, I know zero. Because, like, the way you're described is, like, beautiful. You don't look evil or haggish at all. So I'm like, she's good now, right?
I don't know how common Hexbloods would be.
I think Hexbloods would be incredibly rare.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, am I playing Mia, like, too naive? Or is that... Because, like I said, like, actions are sort of speaking, and her actions have led to a point where she is now transformed from these Coven abilities. But she looks great! What's there to be worried about?
I mean, she looks different. I don't think she looks any more or less
she hotter
evil
than
a
Geneva?
Dragonborn does. Oh, nobody tops Geneva, obviously.
Thank you, Leland.
Well, did Dreg really mean it, or was he just being supportive? You're beautiful. Right? He might have just went, oh shit, wow, she's really taking a change. I better say something nice.
You'll have to ask Drag.
I like your
I guess.
hair.
Yeah, like when your coworker comes in and they thought they'd try something new with their hair, and it was just a little bit over the top.
Yeah, that's great. That's great, Shakara. I love what you did with your body.
Yeah, your ass looks great in those horns.
Well, Team Warlock.
Yeah, I'll have to think about it and maybe talk to Leland as well about whether Falzarin would know what a hexblood is or not. Because Falzarin has done a lot of reading, but he doesn't know everything.
You would know even less about a hexblood than you do about hags in general.
Yeah.
A hexblood is one potential way of which a hag could be created, right? Amidst a variety of strange and weird and often gross ways that a hag is created.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the role play between Shaft and Shakara out in front of the tavern as we were waiting on the other two to come back. Because you don't really, what do you do? How would your character react to some kind of major change like this, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to look at it from Shaft's perspective of, what is she now? What happened? Does she know what happened?
And I was trying to find some way to demonstrate physically what I now am. And most of it was like bad stuff. It's bad stuff I can do now. It's like
Right.
different ways I can hurt you, which was the least painful way for me to show you.
Well, you ended up taking more damage than I did during the conversation.
Yeah, kind of backfired on me.
But it's interesting to think if you've changed over, what do you know and what do you not know about yourself? You're reborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, and how what do you know innately, and how can you, before you get into a battle?
There's a user manual that comes with the coven.
Is that what happens? You get a user manual?
I didn't get the user manual.
It's called When You Go Through Changes. It's kind of like that sex ed book you read in 5th grade.
Izzy must have forgotten to hand that over.
You didn't.
Well, she's still working on the audiobook, so you could eventually just listen to it on your drive into work, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
One day when you. How does Izzy sound? I forget.
Not like that.
Not near enough breathiness.
No, I can do Shakara. I can't do Izzy, I don't think.
149, we eventually in the episode, get to the bloody play, which last after party we're all so excited to go to.
I know.
And all this shit happened.
Got 3 episodes of content in between.
Don't send a revenant after us.
Well, I'm sorry. A revenant's gonna rev, okay?
Have to live with the consequences of your actions, Leland.
No, you all have to live with the consequences of my actions, okay?
It's unfortunately true.
That is true.
It was a pretty good play. Bravo, Leland and Emma.
Yes.
That was
Yes.
only the last scene of the first act. You haven't even watched the rest of it yet.
Wait, there's
only
actually
Well,
recorded
yeah,
more.
how did we end up getting there late? Were we told the wrong
Yeah,
time?
I'm like, we
You weren't
fucking
told the
left.
time.
Oh.
So we just
You were
assumed
never
it was
told the time. You didn't inquire anywhere about a time.
We never asked.
Oh, I thought we would have had a time, so when we showed up late, I was confused.
No, like nobody gave you a specific time.
And you just
didn't
never
ask- you didn't
nudged
ask
us in the right
carefully.
direction. So occasionally
Look,
you tell
It was spring
Falzarin,
forward weekend.
occasionally you tell Falzarin when to use counterspell, but other times they'll figure out the time by showing up late.
That's right.
Well, okay, here's the thing. So Shaft and Falzarin were really expecting to sit out at the restaurant on the terrace for like 2 or 3 hours of a whole play, just doing nothing.
I guess. I don't know.
I thought we had a way to be able to. I thought Mia could tell us when they're in there to find out what's going on and let us know. and then we could decide
At
to
this
go
point,
in invisible and follow her.
Listeners don't know, but yeah, like Mia could send a spell and be like, "It's here, sneak in" or something. Right. But like, yeah, there's a lot going on.
I think between Pass Without a Trace and Invisibility, which we've used before to work pretty well, and be able to find out where this thing's going to be. Right? If in my mind, if she was to come back and go, she's not wearing it, then, hey, we're going to go in and check things out while the play's going on. Or if she is wearing it, then we go someplace and we hide in there and watch her where she goes.
Yeah.
I was hoping that they would get there early enough to see where she came out of, so we would have an indication of where she might be going to get this amulet.
Right.
But now I think we're in a situation where if she's got it on, we got to go in and follow her, and then try to snatch it after she puts it away. In my head, she goes and puts it in a little box and puts it in a safe or something and leaves, and then follows her in, and Shaft go in after she's gone, and we have some time to get it and get the hell out. Now, it will never be that easy.
Sure, but that is now post-show activity, right? So is that what the plan going forward is potentially going to be? Like, surely Shakara and me aren't going to stick around for the second half of the play.
Well, kind of depends on what happens at intermission, doesn't it?
Well, true.
Yeah, this is great insert DM bad stuff opportunity.
I mean, the non-Izzy and Kula know that Shakara is there, and the non-Izzy sent Kula off, supposedly, perhapsly, to go talk to Shakara for some reason. And we're supposed to talk to Surrogate at intermission and see what he has to say, and that could change everything.
Like, yeah, if Kula comes out fighting, like, you know what I mean, that changes things. We're not gonna.
You could have went in there and said, "She's not here," right?
Yeah,
and then walk back out.
But yeah, she's there. I mean, yeah, you're probably right. I probably should send you a message. Good idea.
Well, they won't recognize Shakara now, so you got that going for you.
Well, they did though.
Most likely not. Yeah.
She's already in disguise.
Oh well, then the non-Izzy and Kula must have recognized Mia.
Well,
that's right.
I didn't give any indication that you two were spotted by either Hannah or Isabella as you entered the play.
No, the only reason I'm thinking that is because after we walked in, the non-Izzy talked to Kula and Kula left.
Yeah, I think
it could have been completely coincidental, but
yeah.
Could have been.
My impression was
Leland.
He was whispering over, saying, "Look who's in the audience." That's sort of what I was.
We never pick up on crumbs. We pick up on something, and it happens to be a coincidence. Like,
we make crumbs when there's no crumbs there.
That's true. It could be.
That's how you make the situation adapt to you.
So
that's right.
Would Isabella have felt Shakara's change?
That's a good question.
Would Isabella know?
They're both in a coven together, which is a sort of a bond. And Shakara has turned into something that's a lot closer to being what Isabella is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't feel Isabella, but is that just because I don't have the experience to, or because she's more powerful than me, or there's nothing to feel? There's not that strong of a connection, or we haven't been bonded long enough to have that kind of strong a connection.
Yeah.
Can you feel feelings as a hex blood?
Yes.
Okay, so you can feel feelings at least. That's good.
That is a good baseline.
A psychopath.
I will still get angry. Yes.
What happened when Erica died? With Izzy, did Izzy feel
Izzy
that?
claimed that she could is able to tell when one of the coven members dies.
She knew there was an opening.
Yeah, I think Falzarin had an interaction with her, and she said something to the effect of like, "Do you think I wouldn't know exactly when Erica dies?" or something to that effect? Yeah,
I think that was in the keep through your scabulet.
Yeah.
Way back. way back.
But, that was an example of A, there were sisters, and B, they were all arch-fae, right?
Sisters in that they were both sisters, in quotes, in the coven. I don't know that they were blood sisters.
Oh,
and that's never been made clear, but...
Yeah, I guess I just always assumed they were, like, actual blood relations, but that's a good point.
Well, I mean, she calls me her sister now.
Yeah, true.
So speaking of scabulets, There was a little thing that happened in one of the episodes that sort of got glossed over. A little bit of a cutting turned into a scapulet. Yeah. Is that what I heard?
It wasn't a scapulet. It was a token.
So a scapulet.
And
scapulet shaped. How did you say it, Leland? You did
you
say
said
scapulet.
Token, and I
said it in some ways it resembled the scapulet. Yeah. But I mean, the scapulet is only a scapulet because it was embedded into a chest. Like, that's what makes this a scapulet. Like, if you put it in somebody, it becomes a scapulet.
So what was it before it was embedded in him?
Yeah. Did anybody call it a token before that?
Well, in the stats, the Annis Hag creates an iron token that she hands out.
But it's not normally embedded in somebody's chest.
Well, no, that's the thing. The lore that was my flavor. The lore for the Annis Hag is like they like to give those tokens to like little kids in villages and stuff, so they can talk to the kids and like get them to be bad and that kind of stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
sounds lovely.
Yeah, it's like they slip away to be able to like be the devil on your shoulder kind of thing.
So for me, what it kind of is kind of a sending stone, sort of, but it's one way. If I give that to somebody, I can talk to them. I think it's up to 10 miles away.
So does that confirm that
Also.
Falzer and Scapulet was a one-way, not a speaker, not a microphone?
Not necessarily.
Speaker,
well, no, we talked back and forth through it.
Crap. Okay.
And I mean, that could just be the difference between, a hex blood versus a full-on, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I've never looked up like the character traits and abilities of a hag.
Are hags undead?
No.
Okay, so there's potential to be friends, Shikara.
Well, you guys could sit down and talk about Thor and Dendar and see how Thor and Dendar get along with each other. Maybe that might be a bonding point.
I don't know. We need to do that.
I mean, now that you've got your rings embedded and you have the henna tattoos to sort of mark you as
that's pretty much confirmation
Dendar.
that Dendar's evil. Thank you.
What exactly does Shikara actually know about Dendar at this point?
Very little.
Very little.
Very little.
But you're so devoted. You're such a good servant.
She gave me powers. She gave me some pretty nifty powers.
Dendar's very giving.
Dendar's so nifty. How could you not?
Exactly.
Well, speaking of gifts from Dendar, we did get another little tidbit into the Keck question of where is Keck? Is the poster outside of the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Taking a break from showbiz.
Poor Keck.
Just taking a break.
Certainly sounds like she's dead.
Well, we found her instrument and feathers, right?
Yeah.
So, at the very least, is mute.
You keep saying that, but you made that up.
What? No, I could have sworn that she was mute and Dendar gave her the lute and that's how she could sing.
I'd have to check with Emma, I suppose. I think there was something about
And I already broke her glasses,
possibly.
so she's so
But
screwed.
So she's blind and mute.
Sorry, Emma.
Oh, man.
That's rough for an entertainer, I'll tell you.
This is what happens when you make friends with
Shikara.
with the good enough adventure party.
That's right.
We smash your glasses, you get your loot destroyed.
Yep. Puts you in a zone of truth.
Yeah, Zone of Jerusalem. I'm looking forward to the intermission. Things are gonna be spicy. Maybe.
Things are going to be calm, cool, and collect.
Well, it is for Shap and Valzer, and again, they're just having a siesta on the chair.
Yeah. Look, every once in a while, you just got to sit back, you Falzern and Alamar, have a chat, have a beer.
Have a 5 gold beer.
Look, once we get the Revenant and Capsule, and we get Alamar back into his body, we won't hang out like we have been. It's sort of a going away. Really, it's the bros before Alamar goes back off to college, and we don't see him
It's
again.
our last little hurrah.
Yeah.
Good times.
There was a couple last things that I want to talk about. I think I cut out some stuff conversations we had about Counterspell in general and like how to use it and how weird and meta it is to use it, which I think is worth having a conversation here because I don't know how to use it. like okay, even in the instance of like someone's casting a spell, I'm going to counter it. I think Bill, again, I had cut it from the episode, but Bill had said, well, how do I even know what spell they're casting before I use the counterspell? Because the text of counterspell actually does say it prevents it from being cast. Even though I think in the moment I had just tried to said to you, just think of it as if you are canceling the effects of a cast spell, but which isn't technically correct rules as written within the spell. But also then you have the problem of, well, do they know what level the spell they're trying to counter is, and how do they decide how high to upcast their counter spell, if anything? Because, I mean, I don't know what you would have done, Bill, but if you had known that it was a level 5 fireball, would you have just counterspelled at level 5?
I think counterspell is like you're going up and slapping them on the back. You're breaking their concentration on the spell being cast.
And you could see someone's casting a spell. You might not know what spell, but you know they're casting a spell because of verbal, somatic, and material components being used.
And I would say, if you know that spell, you would know what was being cast.
That's kind of, I think, sort of what we landed on. Because I had sort of said, well, I brought up the fact that part of the reason I haven't used counterspell more often is because it just kind of seems weird to me, you know, like it seems a little bit immersion breaking. But when you think about, like you said, there are somatic parts, like you're moving your body around, making hand gestures, whatever you're doing, and there's verbal components to the spell. So if you are a practiced spellcaster, you're definitely going to be familiar with a good number of spells and be able to recognize probably some of them being cast by other people. So yeah, you see someone start to make some recognizable movements and say some recognizable things, and you say, hey, they're trying to cast X spell, I'm gonna stop them.
Yeah, if he's going fireball, you sort of see it coming, right?
Yeah,
That's how they do
stop
it.
them before they get the ball out. But last after party, we had the conversation about how the specific words and motions for casting a particular spell are not codified within the system itself, and it is left to be ambiguous.
Yeah.
Therefore, potentially each caster could have their own variety or their own way and variations in the ways that they cast the same spell that two casters might know. So like, what is
I struggle with
both
this.
arguments kind of.
Well, does counterspell do you have to know what spell it is in order to counter it, or does it
Doesn't
just
say anything
nullify?
like that.
Well, I mean, that they just know they're casting a spell because they're moving.
But the trouble
Logic's
is,
out the window.
the trouble is, and this is what I struggle with, and why I don't use it more often, I think. And part of the reason I don't use it more often is because most times, at least I assume, and in my experience, when someone uses counterspell, the player is already aware of what spell they're countering. You don't announce it before the enemy has said they're casting X spell, right? You don't just say, hey, on this turn, I'm going to cast counterspell to whatever the enemy does. You do it after the fact, which seems metagamey to me.
Now, is counterspell a reaction?
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you be performing an action and then take a reaction and continue to perform your action because you counterspelled his counterspell?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't, because they were casting fireball and then it didn't get canceled.
Right.
Right.
I didn't even think of that. You're right.
So you would have to almost stop your spell that you were doing to use your reaction, and then you would lose your action because you stopped your spell.
Oh, that's a really good point, actually. I did not even think of that.
I have heard of that
Good job, John.
being done, though. Like, I know
Smart brain sense.
I know other people play it
I wasn't
that
gonna
way.
say that.
that what Leland did is the way it's done.
Yeah.
But when you actually take a step back and think about it, I see your point.
So then that kind of leads more credence to these. Okay, so I mean, I play Magic the Gathering, so all I'm thinking of is like that card game uses a stack mechanic. So that's what I was picturing as this thing was going on, because that's exactly what happens. Like you've cast a spell and it has yet to resolve, and then there are times for everyone gets a chance to react to that, and then everyone gets another chance to react to reactions, and so on until nobody needs or is going to take a reaction. So the counterspell is the counterspell, which no longer counterspells the fireball, which was the last thing cast, last thing to resolve or you know what I mean, or the first thing cast, last thing resolved. So that's the way immediately that I was like picturing that. But I mean, honestly, yeah, it makes sense. Like, how the hell does that actually work, and does it really matter? Because I have no problem with telling you, Bill, what spell I'm going to cast and giving you a chance to counterspell it. I have no problem with that, because I'll do the same thing with enemies, because I mean, you've been counterspelled before, and Red, I think one of the Neogi on the tower counterspelled you, if I recall correctly, and it's not going to be the last time. Clearly, because Isabella just did it to you, and hashtag real Izzy.
No.
So I mean, I have no problem. So if there is a particular
Will the real
way that
Isabella
you would,
please stand up?
Leland just stood up.
Leland motions.
if there is a particular way that you would like to play that particular spell, like I have no problem like making that change, and that's just the way our campaign will deal with counterspell. Like, we can do whatever way you like, and will be easiest for you to wrap your head around. Like, that's fine with me.
It's I think I sort of said this in stuff that was cut out during the play, but it's less about I just don't like to do things that I think are unrealistic, and I had struggled with counterspell just being a bit of like very meta-gamey, but after talking with you a little bit about it in the moment and then just thinking about it since, like, I think I've come to terms with how it kind of makes sense for it to happen in this magical world and wizards to be able to do it. I don't think it's that crazy.
Okay, well, going forward, I'm going to be announcing the spells that are being cast and the level at which they're going to be cast, because I have no problem trading a 5th level spell slot for a 5th level spell slot. Because really, the person that is counterspelling actually comes out on top, because they don't have to forfeit their action to be able to negate someone else's action. So really, the expenditure of resources is potentially on par, or you can risk doing a save, especially if you don't have a slot of the appropriate level available.
Yeah.
Right? It's all about just eating up your resources. That's all I give a shit about. And that's all the encounters are really trying to do. Like, I mean, I'll tell you, though, if this is Sardo running around, I'm not confirming, if it's Sardo running around, think about what he's cast and the amount of resources that he's already expended today. So keep that stuff in mind too.
That's
because if that's so, he's at least spent 2 disguised selves and a 5th level fireball, right? Like,
And a counterspell
counterspell.
to the counterspell.
and a counterspell, yeah, and a level 4 counterspell.
So he's got a bunch of 2nd and 3rd level spell slots left. Let's go get him.
There you go. Let's get him. Well, potentially, he's right there in the theater.
Potentially has.
That's right. Hammer him right there in the balcony. Boom.
Potentially has feeble mind.
Well,
Nah, he wouldn't have that.
maybe Alamar did that
Doesn't
before
seem his style.
he died.
Yeah, you could try to hammer her right in the theater, but it's gonna be real hard when your hammer is sitting outside on a terrace having a beer.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
My sending
I
spell is
forgot
25
about
words. It's going to be like, get in here, bring my
Give
hammer.
me my hammer.
Set my hammer on the 3rd toilet stall in the...
There you go. It is intermission.
I
Keep
know.
it to the underside. Best set of episodes yet.
Best yet. Best 3.
You know, I was thinking about that. You know, we can always do our best. If it's on a scale from 0 to 100, and we're at the best 3 episodes are at like a 30, that means we still have a lot of 3 best episodes all the way up
There you
until we're
go.
perfect.
Oh, I see. We just
working toward perfection.
we make the sliding scale.
That's right. But so yeah, it's the best 3 episodes ever, but we're only at like a 30 right now. So we're still not really
Sure,
hitting
but
it.
also the correlation between the quality of the episode is directly proportionate to the number of the episodes. So the higher as the episode's number goes up, so does the quality. Well, what a surprise!
Well, there you go.
We're
See?
always outdoing
The
ourselves.
system.
Math is always.
I mean, we've been
always
looking
helps.
forward to this theater for like 3 after parties now. Maybe. And we're just now realizing I have to send John or Shaft a spell, or, sending spell. So, like, we totally are prepared. We know what
We
we're
talked
doing.
about that.
I don't know. Did we? Honestly, I've been confused about what exactly
Yeah,
the
like,
party's plan
the
is.
whole you and Bill sitting out, or Falzer sitting
So
outside.
I can only imagine how the 4 of you feel.
I thought I was on the same page with John. We were going to hang out, and you guys were going to confirm if She did have it there, and we sort of assumed that she takes it off and stores it somewhere, and we're going to kind of tail her and find out where she stashes it.
Yeah, but see, I thought we're the ones in the theater confirming that it's there. As long as we're not attacked and a fight breaks out, like, we might be able to find out from Surrogate or whatever where it's stored, and then you guys come back in another time when not everyone's there to get it.
We're gathering information, and we'll share the information, and we can figure it out, right?
I thought
You're not gonna.
I thought that the ladies were going to put on the dresses, which they did, and go and buy tickets, which they did, and go into the theater, which they did, and Falzer and Shaft would be right behind them, invisible. That's what I thought was happening,
Yeah,
but
because
obviously not.
Pass Without a Trace lasts 10 minutes, and Invisibility
They're
lasts
just
1
waiting
hour,
for me
right?
to be like, it's go time.
So as soon as you say, yeah, we're ready, then we go do
Yeah,
it.
I think we need to wait.
And we don't know how long this play
Yeah.
is. Hell, we missed half the first part of it.
Well, see, that's... I mean, that all makes sense, but that is funny because then the expectation was that potentially the ladies would sit down and watch the whole play.
No,
You
yeah.
have to come up with the whole plan.
This
I didn't think
intermission.
that was what the plan was entailing at all, or like even a plan like C or like a plan D is. Well, we're here. We paid for the tickets.
It's a good show. We don't want to miss
if it's
this.
a good show, you watch it. If not, you leave.
I foresee us, like, let's say Surrogate even knows where it's at or something, or can tell us some information. Like, I foresee us going back in the theater because for show we want to look like business as usual, but I send a message to Shaft.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
Hannah or any of Hannah's underlings notice us there, and then all of a sudden we're gone, and then all of a sudden the amulet's gone.
Things get hairy,
Exactly.
like, freaking, can you still teleport, or is that something you lost when you hexbloodded?
I could never
When you
teleport.
got your rag. I thought you got
Misty
I thought
Step.
you got teleporting.
Miss, yeah.
I have a ring of Misty Step. I don't think I have the
bad.
Misty Step spell anymore.
Was
I'll
it
have to look. I
invisibility?
don't
You
think
can cast invisibility.
invisibility. Yes.
Okay, so, like, worst comes to worst, I snap to Shaft, you go invisible, or, like, he snaps to me. Like, we've got options
Yeah.
for if things
That's
hit
true.
fan,
That
but,
is true,
like,
yeah.
I don't have weapons, which is scary.
Yeah, if shit goes down, you pop to me, you get your hammer and everything.
It
and
really
she-
depends on what Leland does to us in this intermission.
Yeah, if we were in there invisible, standing in the back, and then everything went down, she would pop over to me. So I guess it'd be 50 feet.
That's funny.
I'm
Not far
getting
enough.
out of here. Dink! 3 chairs over. Shaft and Falzer, and they're sitting
Not
there in the empty
spending a
seats
resource,
watching the
it's
play.
one action, I guess, yeah.
She goes from seat 19 to seat 18. What the hell? Oh, hey, how you guys doing? Great play.
So, what if Shaft and Falzern just died, and then were resurrected? Would that deal with Sardo?
Oh, that's the question.
I'm not
Oh,
sure that's a plan I'm willing to execute.
Mia knows the gentle repose spell, right?
So
Do I?
Mia can revivify.
Yeah, I've revivified.
But I will, so which has to be done within a minute. I'm going to say that a minute of them being dead is not enough for Sardo to go away
Believe it.
because they're dead. Yeah. Now, I will, if they were dead, and you used like a resurrection spell, then that could totally solve the problem. Because the Revenant will, like, their soul will dissipate and move on once their task
What's
is accomplished.
resurrections level?
Yeah, Mia, does your brother know that?
Resurrection has the
Well, yeah,
possibility
which
to like
family
go
member?
wrong, though, doesn't it? And you come back as something else? Or am I thinking of a different spell?
No, if the soul is free and willing, which you guys would be, like, it would return to life with all its hit points. 7th level spell. I mean, I have 5th level spell slots. That's it.
Is that the one that heals, like, if you lose an arm,
It's
you come back with the arm again?
Full hit points. Neutralizes poisons. Cures normal diseases. Doesn't remove magical diseases, curses, and the like. Closes all mortal wounds and restores any missing body parts. Here we go. I will say that, like, when the fireball killed a bunch of people, I thought about trying to revive some because I could, but, like, I think even as Mia, I was, like, trying to think, like, doing any good to do that. Like, how do you choose who to bring back? Like, that's just, I don't know, it just seemed unfair. Or did I just, like...
Well, you had Pete, you had Larry.
I was thinking about that too, actually, on the relist, and I'm like, wow, it's like, if Mia had wanted, she could have been like, revivify, like at least maybe
I
bring
could have
back the
done
paladins or
3,
whatever.
I think.
Oh, okay.
4th level spell slots. I could have brought some paladins back, but in the moment I was just like, I don't know how I would justify who I'm choosing.
Well, you're bringing 3 more people back for Thor.
Hey.
That's how you get them into the religion. You let them die and you bring them back.
There you go.
I mean, it's a tough way to
And
get
then
in.
they
It's almost like
recruit
a
2 more
revenant.
people each.
That's right.
And they kill and revive 2 more people each.
Gather around, folks.
Yes, yeah, okay,
I'm gonna
okay.
kill
I see,
2
I
of you,
see.
but don't worry.
As long as I'm on
Thor
the
will
top of
bring
this
you back.
pyramid scheme.
Hey, Thor's on the
It's-
top of that
it's just
pyramid.
one of those
Don't
things
you
where-
forget it.
Like, I think we all have sessions where we walk away and, like, if we were writing a story and taking our time and editing and going over everything, like, yeah, things might change. But in moments where you're, like, resource management, still sort of an initiative, all these different things,
Yeah.
like, what do you freaking do?
It's tough in the moment, for sure. I know there have been many occasions where I listen back and I'm like, oh man, Falzarin should have done this instead. It doesn't. I'm not super happy with what he did, but you know,
Well, the
it
second
is what
1
it is.
minute passes in game, like, too late, sorry, Mia. Like, okay. Anyway, you guys want to be revived? We could try it. I mean,
In the moment that Igna had perished after the counterspell, or after that session, I was looking over stats again. I'm like, oh, I just completely forgot about an ability that Igna had that more than likely actually would have got them out of the tavern even without Dimension Dooring. So you're totally right when it's so easy to be like, oh, there was something that should have been done in the moment, and be like, oh, I just didn't do it. But whatever. Igna's toast. I don't care. I think it made for a great moment. And honestly, if you were in any other bar other than the Tickley, like, there would have been hell to pay for you just striking down a dude, right?
Yeah.
But
and
Unprovoked, it
wrecking
looked like,
the
too.
inn or the
Yeah.
tavern. They were a little bit mad, but it seemed forgivable. Like,
We let Frank know somebody was probably gonna die.
we kind of did.
yeah,
There's
I mean-
trouble coming.
Yeah. If you go into any bar and you walk up to the bartender and go, okay, look, somebody's probably gonna die here soon, you get a pass.
Within the 1 minute, yeah, like the 1 minute it took Sally to come upstairs, she's like, all right, and turns around. Like, what?
she's like, okay, you 4 are clearly dealing with something. But also remember, like, many of the paladins have started to recognize you. Now, obviously, they have to get reacquainted with Shakara. And now every single time we talk to anybody that's met her in the past, I have to remember that she looks fucking different. Which is,
I thought about
honestly,
buying a red wig.
Yeah, yes,
Play.
legit. I was just gonna say, you have to wear something that I can physically look at you
I got a
and
clown
remember
wig
that you
somewhere.
look differently. Anything, even if it's like a ribbon on your headphones or something.
Oh,
I got
dude.
horns I can put on.
Can you imagine us all cosplaying our characters? That would be so fun.
Some people do it.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I want my topaz eyes. But can I grow, like, a foot? Somehow.
I think you need to grow a couple of feet.
How tall is Mia? She's not a couple feet taller than me.
I thought she's like pushing like 6.5 feet tall at least.
How short do you think I am?
Less than 5 feet, aren't you?
No, I'm like 5'3".
That's
let's
not
not
that
add inches.
Oh, this
That's
okay,
what
okay.
she
That's what
said.
guys do.
Euphemia Brightwood is listed as 5'8" when I made the character, but she
What?
acts 6.
Well, that's
she
not your
acts
Asimar
6'8".
self, though.
Oh yeah, right. That's not Asimar. Okay. I've always been told I have a big personality. I'm just playing into that. Asimar. Okay, so Asimar. Oh, they're not that much bigger.
She got a good wingspan though.
I've always envisioned Mia as being like a pretty big lady.
Like 6 foot woman. Yeah.
Like she's
Yeah.
She could
Me
hold
too,
her
but
own in a
6 foot
fight.
woman isn't feet taller than me right now.
I always picture like 6'6". That's always what I have. And same with like Shakara. Like I picture Shakara like 6'4", 6'5", right? Like
She was, yeah.
She was.
what is Hexblood Shakara?
Hexbloods are small to medium size, so she's under 6 foot now.
Average height for
Like a respectable 5'11".
female
Yeah.
ASMRs up to 6'1", male up to 6'6", according to Forgotten Realms wiki.
Well, good thing this is Aspara.
Yeah.
Asmars can be 12 feet
Home
fucking
brew
tall.
it up, yeah. Feet taller than humans.
Do we want to talk about the question for Denny?
Well, Denny can't answer.
Denny, how do you feel about all the airtime you're getting? Isn't it nice? Falsey kept you in that bag with a grumpy man for so long.
It's been fun to use Denny. I'm liking Denny being more a part of the show. And I mean, holy friggin' convenient for when you want to get to somewhere fast.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet. Yeah.
And you can clean up with them.
You can clean up.
You can clean up with them. It's multi-purpose broom.
If you want to be really stealthy and quick, you can fly at ground level and wipe your tracks behind you as you go.
All you do is you and Shav on the broom. You make all three of you invisible. Pass out a trace. No one can. And you zoom
Right?
down the street.
I don't know how, listening back, I heard it, but I didn't hear it as we played. The whole, like, landing lower for Shaft to reach the ground. I never heard, and it was mentioned several times, I never heard it when we were playing. I don't know how I missed it. And literally everyone else was chuckling and I wasn't. I was the only one not laughing. I must have just, like, been la-la-land.
Didn't Denny kind of smush your cajones at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again with the cajones.
I know how it's pronounced. Hey, people say foyer, okay?
But I like that
only
Denny,
fair.
like, learned and landed lower for him.
I
like,
grew up saying foyer.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I get it. Like I,
Yeah, we also grew up and still say wolf instead of wolf. So.
but like, I come from
Foyer
Canada
is
where French is
accepted.
a second language, so obviously I'm gonna have a little bit of an advantage in pronouncing French words.
There's a town near us called Milan and Versailles and Vivi,
Versailles.
which are all French words.
Yeah.
Instead of
They pronounce
Milan.
it Versailles.
Milan, Versailles,
Versailles.
and Vivi.
I mean,
right.
yeah, that's like the street in Detroit when we were downtown. We call it Vernier Highway. It's Vernier, but Vernier in Detroit.
Vernier.
We've been playing together for 3 years now, so now we're saying the southern side of the roof.
Well, Leland continues to say
Roof.
Escape. I mean,
I can't not say escape. I'm sorry. That's how it comes out. Southern, I can maybe correct to southern. But escape is just escape.
I have been known to be starting to adopt escape myself, actually.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
no. Oh,
just
no.
escaped once in his
I
life.
said
Once or
cavern
twice,
once.
sometimes.
Okay, I'll admit it.
It does have more impact, I will say that. You're the escape, right?
Yes.
You really are pounding that word
Look,
home.
you emphasize the E because they're exiting. That's what it stands for.
Oh, okay.
That's what escape
Makes
stands
sense.
for. It says exit-scape. That's what it's a short form of exit-scape. It's actually a portmanteau. Not a lot of people know that. Escape is a portmanteau of exit and escape.
All right.
Oh boy.
I'm Leland Studio.
All right. Anything
This
else
has
we're going to
been
talk
Leland
about before
since.
we pop? Because we're on
Our
3
3-year
year
anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
Yep.
We're gonna do something about that, right? On a stream on
We're
April
gonna
2nd.
we're gonna do a live Twitch stream.
Yes.
Wait, does this come out before that or after that? Actually, this doesn't come out for like 2 weeks.
Well, it's the 15th
Yeah, it'll come
now.
out. It'll come out before 28th. Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Boom.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
tuned.
yeah.
Follow the Incorrigible Party on Twitch.
Yeah, every Sunday, Dying with the Detmers or Detmer versus Detmer.
That's right. And you could go back and on YouTube and like and subscribe there like everybody asked you
Hot
to
diggity.
Yeah.
Smash like.
Well, like if you
Ding the
can't make
bell.
it for the live Twitch stream, like listen to us shoot the shirt and on video and yeah, on YouTube. Watch
Highly
it after.
recommend. John and Emily have had some very entertaining
You
streams.
have to see Bill's handsome face. Highly recommend.
Eh.
You guys are talking about two different things.
Well, we'll put a picture of Bill's handsome face up
Yeah,
on our
yeah.
stream.
I won't.
That way we cover all the bases.
Okay, Bill, you need to send us a picture. We gotta do this now.
Do you want me to send you a picture of my big rash?
Oh no,
No.
please don't.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's still there.
I thought for sure you're gonna say big rack, and I was excited.
It's slowly healing, but it's still there.
Say it again. Say it again. Pustules.
Pustules.
No, bad word.
I've been John and Shaft.
See, I don't mind moist, but pustules. Ugh.
Yeah,
Oh
I think
my
I
God,
just
I
like moist.
Gave you the
You missed
out.
the cue. You
I
missed
gave
the
you the
cue.
out.
This is
That
the
was-
type of
that
after
was
party
the
that
cue.
we could stick with this content for till 2 hours, and I'm fine with it.
This is the after party that never ends. It's just
As long as
No,
we're
we gotta
talking
hit the
about
2 hour
pustules.
mark. This is what they're here for.
I've been Emily and Shakara.
I can't take 20 more minutes of pustules.
You're up, Elena.
I have my part.
I already did mine.
All right.
So terrible.
We're waiting on you.
You have to leave it all in.
I'm sorry, but now I have to add something. It's gone long enough that I have to talk now.
Yes.
Before this batch of 3, I do want to actually say that this was a really great batch of 3 episodes. And I will say that before, but like,
contractually
I'm actually being
obligated to
sincere
say
this
it.
time. I'm actually being sincere.
This time.
No, because before this 3, like this batch of 3, and getting to play regularly with you, because now we're actually keeping up a regular play schedule. They're like, I'm jazzed about Aspara again, because I was waiting on like, I'm just almost done with Aspara, but I'm back in now. Not that I was waiting on the show in general, just like, okay, we're in Aspara still. I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
excited. I don't know, but I'm
You would
excited
like
about
us
it
to
because,
be in
like,
outer
it's-
space with Neogis. I get it.
if you could just get to the mountains, just
Well, that's good to hear. Burnout's a thing, and yeah, I mean, we've been in Aspara for a long time.
Well, we had a really crazy, from Halloween till Valentine's Day was a really,
yeah, it
it
was rough.
rough time for
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
of us. And now I think we're back on a schedule and getting back into the swing of
Yeah,
things. And
it's been good. I've been really
Now we're jazzed.
I've been really enjoying playing
We're jazzed.
playing more regularly.
Yep. Okay, great. Where were we? We're at Atlanta.
It's
Yeah.
Lena's turn.
I'm Elena. I play Mia. I'm very jazzed about Aspara. Can you tell by the tone of my voice?
perfect. I've been Bill and
I said
Falzarin.
it. The pauses.
There's a pause for dramatic effect. I nailed it.
Wait,
Happy adventuring.
Happy adventure.
Happy adventuring.
at least we always end laughing.
It's better than ending crying.
No, I can do Shakara. I can't do Izzy. I don't think.
it's a 2-hour audiobook, so you'll never get through it.
I hate you guys.
I love that look you're giving me
I
right
hate
now.
you guys. Bringing off mic jokes on mic. Freaking knew you would. I didn't think it would be John, but all right.
Okay, let's move on to one. Let's move on to 149.
Let's move on. This is going to be 2 hours.
Let's move on. We finally.
Oh
I have to cut all
You
that.
gotta
out.
live with her. I can say
cut
anything
all
I want.
See, this is how we make shorter episodes. Is we just put in a bunch of shit I have to cut.
Yeah.
That's how we get our bloopers, though. So
That's true.